You are Locked On Heat Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, Heat fans? What a win tonight at home. Granted, the Toronto Raptors, no world beaters by any stretch of the imagination, but a good win for Miami on a night when you went from frozen to fire. That's right, you see it right there on the rundown. Frozen to fire, Miami missing 18 of their first 23-point attempts tonight. They would finish the game making 19 of 34, and you know how that goes. Streaky shooters, runs throughout the games, and that's the way it goes. But for Miami, most importantly, they go to 9-8. First time over 500 since they were 3-2. Only the second time over that 500 mark this season. They did it with defense. They did it with deflections. They did it with steals. They did it with teamwork, hustle, grit, and determination. No post-holiday Thanksgiving hangover for your Miami Heat today. All right, your Locked On Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, G-R-I-E-S, at Jim Grease _ on social media. And I want to let you know real quick before we really get started with the show, we have to let you know who's paying the bills. That's right, we are brought to you today by FanDuel, and y'all know how much I love FanDuel. I'm a happy FanDuel customer myself, but only when my teams win, right? Shout out to the teams that win and cover for me. You, that means you, that means me, that means all of us can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with a $150 bonus if you win your first $5 bet. That's right, $150 in bonus bets off a $5 bet if you win that first $5. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Also want to let you know that your favorite team now has a newsletter, Locked On Heat newsletter, every single week right into your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. And the main thing with the Miami Heat tonight, I talked about the teamwork that they did it with, 9-8 now on the season, but to do it the way that they did it and to share the way that they shared tonight. You know, it's different guys every night for Miami. It's Terry Rozier every fourth quarter with the 3 threes tonight, 4 in the second half. Jimmy Butler with a big night, over 25 points again, more than 10 free throw attempts, 5 games in a row, 51 free throws over 5 games for Jimmy Z. Butler. How about 18 minutes, 15 points for Jaime Jaquez Jr.? What a second-year player he is. Fundamentals. He's that typical Heat dude, you know, like your Duncan Robinson. Over the years, they've had so many of them where they're system guys who work because they're in the Heat system, and then they go somewhere else if they do, and it doesn't work the same. But Jaquez is a guy just like that. It reminds me so much. And Haywood Highsmith, another one of them. And then, of course, Tyler Hero has 23. He's averaging about 24, just under 24 on the season. Tyler Hero, a big night for him. But the night belonged to Bam Adebayo. I love Bam Adebayo, by the way, playing center at 6'9", can take him out and hit the threes, can go by him, can take him inside and beat him up down low. Well, Bam Adebayo with his 200th career double-double tonight. And how about Bam with the triple-double? Only the 8th of his career. Bam Adebayo's had 10 assists in 2 consecutive games, finished 2 points shy of a triple-double in his last game, and got the rebound tonight to get the triple-double right before the end of the game, like literally on the last possession of the game. It just worked out that the rebound went to him. It wasn't rigged. It wasn't fixed. It wasn't cherry-picked. None of that. But it was Jimmy Butler's night tonight in many ways. And Jimmy B with a phenomenal game as always. And he's the guy who cranks up the heat. He's the guy who gets it going for Miami. When they were 2 for 20 from 3, they had a stretch where they hit 3 in a row in the second quarter. And I want to say it was Tyler, it was Duncan, and the third one was Haywood Highsmith. You know, I have a sickness. It's called being a sports nut, right? But I'll tell you this, man. They hit those 3 threes in a row, and that opened the floodgates, right? They made 19 of their last 34 after going 2 for 20. It was coming right out of a timeout, and here's where Eric Spoelstra shows his genius as a head coach, right? I told you I've known Spo forever. When I was an intern, he was an intern. How did things work out for him versus me? He's won NBA titles. I'm loving my life. Anyway, but Spo used to be the video intern for the Heat, and I used to go pick up the video highlights for Sunday Night Sports Wrap with Mandich, DeForest, and those guys. And I've known Spo forever because of that. And he's an easygoing dude. You feel his demeanor when you talk to him, and that was I knew like he'd be a good coach if he was a good assistant. I never thought he'd be a head coach, never thought he'd be a championship coach. He probably didn't either, but that's the Pat Riley way. That's the Heat way. The Heat culture is not just a blood red jersey that you can buy on heat.com. And, it's a lot more than that. So anywho, what I wanted to say about that is that Jimmy Butler cranked up the intensity of the offense by attacking the rim. And then he gets to the free throw line, number one, keeping the Heat in the game, obviously forcing turnovers on defense. Toronto was terrible turning the ball over all night. And that kept Miami in the game in the first half when they were able to do that, to force the turnovers. Deflections, hands in the passing lanes, contesting every shot. And Toronto's a good shooting team and a very good offensive rebounding team. So anyway, when you look at what happened in this game tonight, it's just that Miami got hot. And the reason they got hot is because Jimmy Butler attacked the rim. It's because Jimmy Butler got the free throws, got to the stripe, started converting. And then what happens? The whole defense starts to collapse and converge on Jimmy Butler. And bang, hey, there's Tyler Hero wide open. A lot easier to make that three without a hand in your face. Oh, my goodness, there's Dunkmeister. Duncan Robinson with the three. Bang, right? Oh, Haywood Highsmith, hey, you might as well get on the action too, bro. And then you get the other people. It's contagious, right? Then Tyler starts to penetrate. Then Duncan Robinson out of nowhere is going left high off the glass. And just a ridiculous circus shot that he actually banks home, rattles around the rim after the glass and falls through. Anyway, the point is, attacking and that mentality and that mindset on a basketball court is contagious. No matter how you're shooting, no matter how you feel physically, no matter who's out with injury, no matter what you're playing like at the time skill-wise, it doesn't matter. You crank up the intensity and the effort. You attack the other team on the glass. You attack them with defense. And where else do you attack them? Have you been listening for the last 5 minutes? At the rim. Offensively, that's what you do, and that's how you get back in games. And then all of a sudden, those shooters are opening up, and you're banging every three this side of every shot ever made behind the line, and that's how it happened for Miami tonight. That's exactly. I mean, I don't even need to do the rest of the show. I just gave you everything right there, everything. I mean, that's the elevator pitch. Where are you at, NBA TV? You know what I'm saying? That's the elevator pitch right there, and that was exactly what happened in this game tonight. They spread it around, and the reason that so many guys scored, Bam hit a couple threes tonight, at least one that I remember, and he got a lot of uncontested shots, some mid-range jumpers, taking the big guys away from the rim, allowing for penetration for guys like Jimmy Butler. That's another part of it. Is Bam at 6'9" can take the other bigs. Tonight it was Pirtle. The guy's a machine. He doesn't miss. Every shot he makes is a layup. He just muscles people out of the way. He's a killer on the offensive glass. But for Miami tonight, another key, the key that opened up the key, and this is another Spoelstra stroke of genius, is for Bam at 6'9" to take Pirtle out of the paint and to open up that paint for Jimmy Butler to penetrate, and then he's dishing it, and guys are hitting threes, and then the other guys are penetrating, and they're dishing it, and even Jimmy Butler hit a three tonight. He's only hit 6 on the season, but you see the impact that Jimmy Butler has. It's not always just in the box score, which, by the way, he filled up again tonight. It's not always in the box score, but there's so many things with the defensive intensity, with even call-outs to his teammates, like, yo, bro, pick him up. You go there. You do this. You hey, high, low. It's weak, all those things. So he's calling out defenses. He's attacking the rim. He impacts the game in so many ways, which is why he was able to, if you know the story with the Timberwolves, take the third team and just whoop everybody's butt and call Karl Anthony Towns a word that I can't say on any show that anybody might be watching who doesn't want to hear a word that I don't want to say right now about Karl Anthony Towns, because that's the way Jimmy Butler feels about him to this day, and that's where that all came from, is Jimmy believes in attacking. Jimmy is a savage. Jimmy's the perfect player for the Miami Heat, better than LeBron James, better than Dwayne Wade, better than Chris Bosh in many ways. Not better as a player. Before you flip out on me, I'm talking about his mindset, his mentality. He and D Wade very similar. The Marquette guys, right? Those Midwestern dudes. Get down, get to work. Flash was more flashy than Jimmy for sure, but he was just as much of a dog. So those two guys, you put those two in a room, I don't know who'd be coming out of there. I think LeBron's dog, when it came out throughout his career here and there, and he was able to tap into that level, he had that kind of mindset too, but not like Jimmy and not like D Wade, day in and day out. All right, you're watching your Locked On Heat postcast 121-111. They beat the Toronto Raptors. Look, it was an NBA Cup. I haven't even mentioned it. It was group play. The Heat and the Raptors both out of the NBA Cup. The Raptors came in at 5-14. They're not a very good team. RJ Barrett's your leading scorer. You got Scotty Barnes and Pirtle. Exactly a game at home in a game that Miami had to win. They did win. They did it in impressive fashion. Not early, but they got hot late, and they won the game. All right, from frozen to fire, they got hot from behind the arc. Jimmy delivers in many ways. It was the free throws. It was attacking the rim. It was finding the open shooters, even hitting a three himself. Tyler and Terry with the big shots. They hit him in the second half. Tyler Hero, 23 points. Terry Rozier, 3 threes in the fourth quarter. When those guys are playing their game like that, that's going to be awesome in the playoffs if Terry Rozier continues to be clutch fourth quarter. Don't forget, before the Hornets traded him to Miami last year, this dude was averaging 24 points plus per game. Not saying he's going to do that on a good team, but hey, we'll take 16, 17, bro. We will take 16, 17, and we'll take a couple threes in the fourth quarter every night, if you know what I'm saying. They play Toronto again on Sunday. How about we look at the brilliance of Bam Adebayo when we come back? A triple-double tonight, 200th career, double-double. Took the big guy outside, opened up the lane for Jimmy Butler, and boom. Beautiful NBA basketball ensued. 10-point win for the Heat. Still to come. Player of the game, turning point, final score graphic. Look ahead to Sunday's matchup at Toronto, and an update on the other side of the break on some things that are going on right here. Locked On Sports Miami and the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Hope you're enjoying your Thanksgiving holiday weekend at @JimGrease_ on social media. GRIES. Take a quick break. Finish up in a little bit with your Locked On Heat postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. And that will be happening right after I tell you about Skylight Frames. How about Skylight Frames, a new sponsor to the network? And I am really excited to tell you about Skyline Frames. And let's see here. We got, sorry guys, 1 second. Skylight Frames, the copy froze on me there. 1 second. All right, so here we go. All right. It's the holiday season, and it's a new sponsor, and we got some new copy here to pick through. So bear with me for just a second. And I really am, I love to give you my own perspective when it comes to the sponsors and the people here on the show, the people and what we do. And we tell you all the time, like, we got the hookup. We're the plug, right? So companies that sponsor us, we're giving you the best companies, the best products, the best services that you could possibly imagine here with the Locked On Podcast Network. And I've been picking my way through the copy this whole time, multitasking, ADHD, can't do it in real life, but can do it here on the show. Wow, is anybody going to write me a script? I guess not. Okay, option 1. Yes, do you want to celebrate with and stay connected to people who are far away? Yes, I found it. The sleuth, like Sherlock Holmes, missing someone this holiday season. Want them to be a part of your festivities from afar? I grew up in Connecticut. I've lived in Florida for half of my life. I also lived in Arizona. You're always wanting to keep and stay in touch, right? Do your loved ones live far away but wish they could be close to you? Do you struggle to find the perfect gift during the holiday season? It's always a struggle, right? It really is. Well, we've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frame is the touchscreen digital photo frame. Yes, your whole family will love. I love these things. Upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds. It's so easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. You can easily share it. You can add new photos straight from your phone from anywhere. The touchscreen is a game changer. You swipe through the photos, tap to see new photo sent, tap that heart button to say thank you to the sender. It's like social media for photos. It's unbelievable. A top-rated brand, over a happy million customers, thousands of 5-star reviews, and available in over 30 countries, recommended by the Today Show, Forbes, New York Mag, and more. And now, as a special limited time offer for our listeners and our viewers, get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NBA. That is skylightframe.com/NBA. SKYLIGHTFRAME. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/NBA. On the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. That was a little tough right there, guys. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes things like this, they happen. And, I can see that the overlay never went up either. This is like, I've been having a little trouble. You guys know this. You've been following the journey for a little over a week here. We've been having some technical difficulties, as my dad used to call them, difficulties. Not difficulties. Nothing's ever a difficulty until you make it one, right? So what we've been having here with the show is certain things haven't been working, certain things haven't been uploading the way that they should, and unfortunately that that's just been happening here on the show a little bit, and we are working through it. We're thankful that we've been able to get almost everything to you in the process. So we're going to gear. Is that going to stick this time? Where is it? There is. All right. Skylightframe.com/NBA. $20 off your purchase of a skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NBA. All right. So there you go. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, 121-111. The Heat beat the Toronto Raptors tonight. Thank you for being here. The Locked On Heat postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. We're here live right after every Heat game. I mean, as soon as that game is over, bang, I am here with this ugly mug right here to let you know what happened in the game tonight, like I do every night. And real quick, I told you on the other side of the break we'd hit this. Yes, and I am going to keep my word. So tonight, obviously, Heat Raptors. Tomorrow, I love you tomorrow, because the Canes are going to clinch a spot in the ACC championship game against SMU next week with a win over Syracuse. The game begins at 3:30 Eastern time. Right after that game, I'll be here with your postcast. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating a trip to the ACC championship game. Don't get me started with the puke coming up into my mouth right now when I'm actually talking about celebrating a berth in an ACC championship game. That's not even celebrating an ACC championship. That's not even celebrating just a regular playoff berth. We would have turned our noses up at these things a long, long time ago. But now we're like, yes, ACC championship game. Let's go Canes, right? So that's tomorrow, 3:30 kickoff, right after the game postcast. Then Sunday, Heat at Raptors, 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. rather tip. That's a 6 p.m. tip on Sunday. It was 8 p.m. tonight, 6 p.m. on Sunday. And so we'll have the Heat after that. Of course, we just did Dolphins last night. Heat, Canes next week. The Canes in the ACC championship, assuming, right? And all things considered, we are the post-game shows for all your Miami teams, whether it's the Marlins, whether it's the Heat, whether it's the Canes, whether it's the Dolphins, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Not to be confused with your day-to-day shows. You go every day with Locked On Canes, Locked On Heat, Locked On Dolphins. You know how we do right here on the network. All right, so we're going to take a quick look at the box score. We're going to take a quick look at the team stats, as we like to do around these parts. And you know what I'm saying, right? Where are the scores? Okay, NBA scores. Things going a little slow tonight. I think a lot of people are just online. You guys noticed that these last couple of days? Internet speed slower. Like, we have speeds faster than Elon's Mars rocket. And then you're like, remember those days? Where's Elon's rocket speed? Not happening here, man. False advertising? Anyone? Where's the FCC? We need him. All right, here you go. So you have, boom, the Heat box score tonight. So I was telling you how Bam had his 200th double-double, 8th career triple-double, 2 games in a row with 10-plus assists for a 6'9" big man. So playing up top through Bam, taking those other bigs, they play on the wings, they play at the post through Bam at times. And what that will do is that takes the other big out of the paint. So Jimmy can penetrate, so Tyler can penetrate, even Duncan can go through. That frees up the other guys to spot up and shoot. That was the formula tonight for Miami. It worked very well. That, and of course, the defensive intensity, the deflections, and Toronto is a turnover-prone team anyway. They're a great offensive rebounding team, but that's by volume. You know, you miss a lot of shots, you get a lot of rebounds. So it's just math, right, at that point. So for the Raptors, Scotty Barnes and Podol had 24 apiece. R.J. Barrett, the leading scorer for the season and tonight with 25. And then that's it really for Toronto. But for Miami, looking at the box score, it was really balanced tonight for the Heaters. I mean, you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in double figures with Kevin Love at 8, just a bucket away. So really, you know, that's impressive. You know, 6 players in double figures for Miami, and 4 of the 5 starters. Not Highsmith ends up with 6, but Dunk had 10. A couple of threes tonight, 2 for 9. But, you know, you look at Bam Adebayo, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, double-double, a triple-double, second straight game with 10 assists. He missed a triple-double by 2 games last game, by the way. And he's really become and found his role in this team. And every Heat team's been different. Every year they've been different. You got Jimmy, you got Tyler, you got Bam, but different starters around them and different things happening up and down and down and up. So when you look at that lineup. So, yeah, and then you have the big guns. Tyler Hero, 8 of 18, 4 of 10 from 3, 23 points. Jimmy Z. Butler, 26 points, 6 assists, only 2 rebounds tonight for Jimmy, but 8 of 14 from the floor, 8 of 9 from the stripe, and 2 for 4 from 3. for Jimmy. And then you had Terry Rozier off the bench, 4 of 7 from 3, all 4 of those in the second half. He had 12 points. And Jaquez Jr., 7 points in a row to start the second quarter, when the Heat were a little bit down and the Raptors have gone on a run. 7 points in a row to start the second quarter for Jaquez Jr. And then, Pelle Larsson's become the 6th man. He had 5 points tonight. And then Rozier and Jaquez Jr., 12 and 15. So, again, Jimmy 26, Tyler 23, 15 for Jaquez Jr., 12 for Rozier, and Robinson with 10 for Miami. They scored 20 points in the first, 38 in the second, their highest scoring quarter of the season. They got outscored 40-38. So what do they do for an encore? They come out and outscore Toronto 38-23 in the third. So back-to-back, second quarter, third quarter, highest scoring quarters of the season for Miami. They had the most makes from the three-point line, beyond the three-point line, 21 in the game tonight, and then they had 25 points in the fourth. So 38 and 38 in the second and third, highest scoring quarters of the season, back-to-back for Miami. And then real quick through the team stats before we hit the second break and we get you back here to give you the player of the game, the turning point, and all that on your Locked On Heat postcast. So Miami shot 45%, Toronto shot 54%. They shot well tonight, the Raptors did, and Miami didn't shoot very well. They shot 38% from 3 again. They went 2 of 20 to start the game. Then they hit 19 of their last 34 from beyond the arc, which is ridiculous. But Miami out-rebounded 46-33, especially on the defensive glass. They got pounded. Assists were about even. Turnovers, 19 for Toronto, 10 for Miami. And, that's 27 Miami points off 19 Toronto turnovers. And that's a 13-point differential there when you see they gave up 14 and they scored 27. So you win by 10, there's a 13-point differential in the turnovers. No matter how bad you get beat on the glass, no matter how bad you get beat, points in the paint, 62-36 Toronto. We say this every single night. It's the deflections, the steals, it's the hustle plays. It's getting to the line. It's the pressure attacking the rim when Bam pulls the big guys out that opens up the shooters. Then they start penetrating. More shooters get freed up, and it's a beautiful thing, poetry in motion. And that's what we saw tonight from Miami. All right, this is your Locked On Heat postcast. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. We're here after every Heat game, and for that matter, every Dolphins, every Canes, and every Marlins game on Locked On Sports Miami, and wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be Spotify, whether it be Apple Podcasts, whether it be iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, you name it, we are there. You know what I'm saying? So a big night for Miami. Bam, the triple-double, the 8th of his career, his 200th double-double. Jimmy, 26, Tyler, 23. Man, oh man, Rozier and Jaquez and Duncan and all these guys contributing tonight. When we wrap up the show on the other side, we got a lot more coming your way. We got the player of the game, we got the turning point with the final score graphic, and we look ahead to Toronto on Sunday. It's the Locked On Podcast Network with your Locked On Heat postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. And make sure it sticks this time. There we go. I love talking about my friends at FanDuel, and who wouldn't, right? The NBA action is strong on FanDuel, but you also know Sunday's a big NFL Sunday. You're getting ready to tackle the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. Live betting is huge on FanDuel, so when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, you can view live play-by-play, and so much more right there on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, right here, Locked On Heat postcast here after every Heat game Sunday against Toronto. That is a 6 o'clock tip. Don't forget the Canes tomorrow. Oh, baby, everything on the line for Cristobal and Cam and the Canes as they go to Syracuse. 3:30 kick. We're here right after with your Locked On Canes postcast. We'll bring in Alex Dono, your host of Locked On Canes. Don't forget Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Heat, day in and day out. But after the games, this is the only place you want to be. Locked On Heat postcast, Locked On Dolphins postcast, Locked On Hurricanes postcast. You know what I'm saying. We even do it for the Marlins. We want to show that. Who else is going to feed every other championship contender players? And then none of them ended up winning the World Series, by the way, because they didn't trade anybody to the Dodgers. But 121-111, Miami wins tonight. Bam, the triple-double, 200th career double-double, 8th career triple-double. Jimmy Butler, 26 points. I think he had 6 assists, only a couple of rebounds. Tyler Hero, 23. His average is in between 23 and 24. Jaquez Jr., 15 and 18 minutes off the bench, including 7 in a row to start the second quarter. And Terry Rozier does it again in the fourth quarter with 3 threes. He's been Mr. Fourth quarter for Miami lately, so good for him. He's found his role. He's been coming off the bench lately, which is new to him, but killing it down the stretch. And look, it's a culture. It's a Miami way, and everybody who comes here buys in. Kyle Lowry did it before him. It's not new for anybody coming in here, but what the Heat did tonight, just to recap real quick for you, they were shooting poorly, 2 of 20 from 3 to start the game. Toronto was turning the ball over like crazy, and Jimmy Butler was getting to the line early, and that is why Miami was able to stay in the game. But then they made 19 of their last 34 from 3. Why? Because Bam took Pirtle out of the paint. Big man takes the other big man out, right? But Bam at 6'9", his versatility takes the big man out. What happens? Then Jimmy can penetrate, opens up the lanes, opens up the rim. He's drawing fouls. Then he kicks to the shooters. The threes start going down. Just keep stroking them like Duncan told Will Manso on the telecast tonight. You just keep firing, man, and eventually they start going in. All right, before we get on out of here, let's give you the moments you've all been waiting for. First things first, GRIES gives you the final score graphic, 121-111 over the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Cup game that didn't matter, although the court was still pretty. But Miami and Toronto both eliminated. No chance to go to Vegas, play for the NBA Cup. This was group play, finishing out. Couple of lame ducks, both 0-3. But you know what? Miami got the dub, 121-111. But look at Jimmy cranking up the defensive intensity. He was doing that all night long. Deflections, steals. He's such a great player and such a tremendous leader for this team. And here's the moment where it all started to go Miami's way. There's the Dunkmeister. He had 2 threes tonight, but it was Tyler Hero. Highsmith hit a couple. Jimmy Butler get on in the act, and so did Bam. And a lot of threes made tonight. Kevin Love for Miami. They got hot from 3 after a cold start. Mentioned 2 for their first 20, 19 for their last 34. And then the star of the game. And there are a lot of candidates for this one, but it's Jimmy Butler. It's hard not to say Bam because he had the triple-double, the 8th time in his career. Only had 13 points, though, and he got the late rebound to give him that triple-double. So you can't just give it to him because he got the triple-double and a late rebound fell in his lap. But I don't want to just say that that's the only reason why I didn't give it to Bam. Tyler Hero had 23, but it was up and down for him throughout the night. Jaquez had the 15 points in 18 minutes. That's a superstar line right there when you're looking at in relativity, right? But no, none of those guys tonight are the star of the game. Terry Rozier with the 4 threes in the second half, 3 in the fourth quarter. But nope, there's only one. It's Jimmy Butler. And here's why. Jimmy Butler with 26 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. But Jimmy Butler steals, deflections, leadership, hustle, attacking the rim, opening things up for the shooters, feeding them in the right positions, getting the whole entire offense jump-started through the defense, through the free throws, getting to the line 51 times in the last 5 games, and then setting up shooters with his penetration. And then it's contagious, right? Those guys start to penetrate as well. Penetrate and kick, penetrate and draw 2, penetrate and wreak havoc, right? That's how you do it. You attack. That's the Heat way. It starts with that man right there, Jimmy Z. Butler. It absolutely does. So a great job by the Heat tonight, all the way across the board, especially after that second quarter. You know, once about halfway through the second quarter, they really started playing a lot better. And so many things going their way tonight. Let's see if I missed anything, by the way. I'm looking real quick at the, let's see. Scotty Barnes didn't get his triple-double. Yeah, the Raptors went on a late run that made it a little closer than it actually was. Nope, not really. Nope, pretty much hit everything for you. Let's see if we get anything. And the recap just hit, so we might see here if the ESPN recap hit anything that I might have missed in the postcast. Other than that, we're done here. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. You know, it's too bad to see the Dolphins do what they did last night in Green Bay in the first half in particular. That red-hot offense froze a little bit, and the way they were playing late, you know, it's just too little too late. Yeah, Jimmy Tyler, 10-point win. Yep. Most three-point makes of the season, 14, 10, and 10 for Bam. Yep. Let's see. Yes, 61% shooting in his last 5 games for Jimmy. 35 for 57 since he came back from the 4-game absence with a sprained ankle. And Miami with a 19-2 run to take a 96-81 edge toward the end of the third quarter, and they never trailed again. And again, I said it at the beginning of the show, 9-8, first time over 500 since they were 3-2, only the second time this season over 500. And they used 10 or more players in the game tonight for the first time in team history. All of them attempted at least 2 threes. Wow. Interesting. And, of course, these two teams play again on Sunday in Toronto. That's all there is, Heat fans. There is no more. You're Locked On Heat postcast 121-111, the day after Thanksgiving. The Heat at home over Toronto in the final of the NBA Cup group play and the last NBA Cup game for each of these teams this season. Miami 9-8, over 500 for the second time this season. Going to Toronto on Sunday and trying to keep it that way with another win for your Miami Heat, starting to really put it together from a team perspective, playing well together defensively. It's starting to gel on offense for Spo and the Heat, and I'm anxious to be back with you here on Sunday. Tip is at 6 p.m. We'll be right here afterwards with the postcast, and don't forget tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. in Syracuse, the Canes football team, Miami Hurricanes, going for everything on the line tomorrow. They win, and they're in the ACC championship game. Keep this magical season going with Cam Ward for Coach Mario Cristobal, and we'll be here right after that game, again at 3:30 kick with the postcast. So until then, I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, Gries, at Jim Gries on social media. I want to bid you adieu. But before I do, I want to remind you that your favorite podcast now has a newsletter, the Locked On Heat newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox daily. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Heat fans. We'll see you Sunday and Saturday if you're here for the Canes on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.